In this video, teachers and further mathematics students share their experiences of using dynamic software in the classroom.
And kind of this is sort of defining the axes, isn't it? And rotate that 90-degree clockwise. Well, I'm going to do that and we'll see what happens. I've not really used GeoGebra extensively before today, so one of the things I've got personally out of this experience is getting a bit hands-on with GeoGebra and sort of seeing how the students interact with it and how I interact with it as well.
Well, the first column changed when you moved the X, and the second column changed when you moved the Y.
I've not done this before, so when you saw it actually working virtually, it made it seem a lot more easy to understand. Like on the screen it helped, but then when you took it on individually, you could do your own individual part. So pieces of work that you'd done and worked out what it should, you could verify it on the phone.
So if you did it -4...
Isn't actually that bad.
I mean, sort of allowing them to sort of explore on their own mobile devices, it basically sort of opens up so many possibilities for them. You know, if there's sort of only one sort of computer at the front of the room and you're leading on that, you're sort of leading, and therefore the students can't explore as much as they might like.
It was great to hear them talking about how they were interacting with it and how they were trying to recreate some of the scenarios that were on the matching cards and on the A3 piece of paper. I think, you know, when you actually drag something and see something happening, that's probably made some connections for some of the students that weren't made with a single discrete example up on the board.
It's easier to visualise things so then you can actually see exactly what's happening rather than having to just think it through as a process. At first we didn't understand how the X and Y's, where they needed to go to, like, say if it was a rotation or an enlargement, but then we found that the lines of the X and the Y, if you do what you want to do to the shape, to those lines, and then you can understand how the shape moves, and it was easier to understand whether it was enlarged or rotated or whatever.
And that freedom allows them to sort of take their learning in their own direction and sort of have those conversations with other students in the class and sort of generate some really deep questions, and sort of those questions that would be normally generated by a teacher, the students are now asking each other as a result of having something in their hands that they can immediately look at it and tackle the problem with.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a matrix on here. What I did in one of the activities today was I started creating a GeoGebra file. I think it was useful for the students to see that there wasn't magic behind the file that they were using. For me, the priority is the conceptual understanding that the children gain by using a file.
It kind of helped when she showed it on the board and stuff, because then the matrix kind of slotted into it rather than when I did it first, it was kind of like a bit out of my depth because obviously it was quite new. But once you added to it and all that kind of sort of fell into place.
I don't think you need a massive knowledge about programming. It's fairly easy to put something up and create sliders and that sort of thing. So that was, for me, a learning point.
So we're just going to have a look at this graph on GeoGebra. I didn't really use GeoGebra that much in lessons, and sort of just using it today, I've realised that there's so many files out there that are already made and are really quick and accessible.
Thinking about the activities today, once they're prepared, once you've got a GeoGebra file, you can use it again.
I think it does add a new dimension to the learning, because this allows them a little bit more exploration beforehand, before you go down the formal methods of proving certain things. And I think that does allow students to sort of become more confident in their methods before they then try and sort of tackle an algebraic proof, which can be quite tricky at times.
I might have had reservations about the size of the screen on their phones before today. I might have had reservations about how easy it would be for them on their phones to control the sliders and interact with the points. That didn't seem to be a problem at all. I would now go away thinking, yeah, I could do this and I could get the kids to get their phones out in a lesson and use this. It is a very safe environment in which to take risks or to try new things. So if you're in the fortunate position of teaching the further maths class and other classes of younger students, and you're thinking, well, I could use GeoGebra, well, actually the further maths class is possibly the safest possible environment to try it out in.